Friends, the biggest shoe company in the world right now is Nike. In fact, Nike has been the number one shoe brand in the world since the last 50 years. This is because Nike is not just a shoe company, but it is a marketing machine with the boldest marketing strategies, innovative advertisements, and their biggest sports partnerships like Nike and Michael Jordan, Nike and Cristiano Ronaldo, Nike and LeBron James, Nike and Roger Federer, etc. So it was quite strange to me when I came across some old news that Nike and Roger Federer had parted ways in 2018. I mean, the partnership was 24 years old, and Roger Federer is not just the biggest tennis player in the world, but a legendary sports icon. But you know what, friends? When I read these news further, it just got stranger because after ending the sports partnership with Nike, Roger Federer chose to partner not with Adidas or Puma or Skechers, but with a small shoe startup based out of Switzerland.
We noticed Roger wearing On shoes and reached out to him.
We all know anything Roger touches turns to gold. Roger is releasing a new product with On.
My wife had shoes, all my friends had shoes, and I've been seeing the company for over the last 5 years in my country, and I was like, well, how about we get together?
In fact, when this partnership happened, this shoe company was not even in the list of top 5 or top 10 or even top 15 shoe companies in the world. And yet today, the brand has gone from, well, a $0 revenue in 2010 to an enormous $2.6 billion in revenue. That too in just 15 years. So how did a small shoe startup called On Shoes from Switzerland land partnership with the legendary Roger Federer? In fact, how do you even think of innovating and developing a new shoe product, a business space that is already so crowded? And finally, what is the one business lesson that we can learn from On Shoes case study to understand business better? Let's find out. Friends, what makes a shoe great? It's three things: fit and support, cushioning, and shoe weight. Fit and support are critical and non-negotiable because without the right fit or necessary support, nobody on earth would buy a shoe because nothing else matters at all. Cushioning provides the necessary support to absorb shock and also to improve performance in sports. And shoe weight is integral as a lighter shoe is directly proportional to less fatigue and physical exertion. So all shoe brands, be it Nike or Adidas or Puma, try to get these three factors right to make the best shoe in the market. Now, if you've understood these points, let's talk about a concept called running economy. Running economy is simply how efficiently a runner uses his energy at an ideal running speed. Simply put, it's like fuel efficiency of a car. Say if a small car, Toyota Corolla, and a big car, Toyota Highlander, are traveling at the same speed of 50 km per hour from point A to point B, then the smaller car Corolla will use less fuel compared to the bigger car Highlander because of its small size and lighter weight. Hence, Corolla has a higher fuel efficiency than a Highlander. So just like that, if two people, an athletic guy Aaron and a not so athletic guy Ben, are running from point A to point B at a speed of 10 km per hour, then the athletic guy Aaron will use 38 ml of oxygen per kg of their weight per minute of their runtime, and the not so athletic guy Ben will use 42 ml of oxygen per kg of their weight per minute of their runtime. And hence, the athletic guy Aaron uses less oxygen compared to Ben to cover the same distance, and therefore he is more efficient and has a higher running economy than Ben. Now we understand this concept of running economy because it is directly correlated with weight, a factor which is also important to make a great shoe. In fact, the thumb rule of running economy for shoe companies is for every 100 gram of shoe weight, the running economy of the person wearing it drops by 1%. So shoe companies always focus on making the shoe as lightweight as possible without reducing the cushioning or tampering with fit and support to ensure that their shoe helps athletes or runners and even casual people. That is why companies like Nike come up with new innovations like fly wire support system or lunar light form cushioning to make the shoes lighter and more convenient for different sports. Now, back in 2006, a Swiss athlete by the name of Olivier Bernhard had just retired from his career as a professional triathlete, which is a multi-sport including swimming, bicycling, and running. So it is safe to say that Olivier was an athlete and not an entrepreneur. So when a friend reached out to him with a bizarre idea of attaching pieces of garden hose under his shoe, he rejected the idea, like any athlete would. But upon further insistence, he gave this unique conceptual shoe a try. And it turns out this idea was indeed something that was never explored in the history of shoe innovation. This idea of having symmetrical holes in the shoe sole was unique. Now again, Olivier was an athlete and not an entrepreneur. So he did something smart and contacted his friend Casper Capetti, who also brought along his partner David Alleman. And the three of them worked on the shoe and the business plan around building a company and formally launched On Holding in January 2010. Now you would ask, there are so many shoe brands and shoe companies in the world. Why did On Shoes become such a success? I'll tell you why. The idea of having symmetrical holes in the shoe sole was unique because it gave On Shoes three big advantages over its competitors. First, its patented Cloud Tech cushion system. Now, Olivier and his co-founders quickly patented this unique technology of identical holes in the shoe sole and named it Cloud Tech cushion system, in which the shoes compress during landing and spring back during takeoff. Now, what made these shoes unique was that instead of one solid block of foam like a Nike Invincible, each hole or the cloud pod acted independently, offering both shock absorption and rebound. And no other shoe brand had ever made a design remotely close to these cloud pods design. And due to the Cloud Tech patent, other brands cannot replicate anything similar as well. Now friends, if you remember vividly, the thumb rule of running economy for shoe companies that we just discussed is, for every 100 gram of shoe weight, running economy of the person wearing it drops by 1%. So to manage their low weight, shoe companies sometimes focus on low foam or low cushion in their shoes. But for On Shoes, they were already lightweight due to these hollow cloud pods. So they could provide the same lightweight shoe without compromising on foam or cushioning. So while a Nike or Adidas focused on reducing the foam or cushion, On Shoes provided the same grip without compromising the comfort. The second advantage On Shoes had over its competitors was another patented technology called speedboard plate technology. Now this was simply a plate in between the Cloud Tech pods and the footbed of the upper shoe. And it was designed in such a way that it worked perfectly with their Cloud Tech cushion system. But exactly how did it help? Let me explain you with an example. So a Nike running shoe, say a Nike Vaporfly, is made for pure speed and propulsion for high performance. So while they can be used by athletes on the field, their sole is made of rigid carbon fiber plates and is not quite comfortable to wear the same shoe for everyday use. Now similarly, a Nike tennis shoe or a Nike basketball shoe focused or rather obsessed on performance at that respective sport and was not the most comfortable shoe for everyday lifestyle wear. There were different Nike shoes for that. On the other hand, the speedboard plate technology is just one common plate which is much more flexible. So while Nike had three different shoe plates that focused on performance of the respective sport and compromised on everyday comfort, the speedboard technology of On Shoes provided the same performance or comparable performance as a Nike shoe, but were also equally balanced and comfortable to wear in everyday use. The third big advantage of On Shoes is their versatility. Friends, the combination of these two patented technologies made On Shoes extremely comfortable and wearable, not just for athletes and sportsmen, but also for urban, everyday runners, professionals, travelers, and even casual fitness users. So for people like you and me, On was a blessing because I could wear the same pair of shoes and run for 10 kilometers at a stretch, or wear them to a boardroom meeting, and their functional use and sleek design would make them a great choice for both these events. So unlike Nike, which separates performance shoes and lifestyle shoes, On merged both the worlds, offering athletic technology in sleek minimal shoes. So these three foundational differences made On shoes different and way better than any other competitors. Now, as luck would have it, around 2018-2019, Nike's deal with the Swiss tennis legend Roger Federer had just ended, and Roger Federer got to know about a small shoe company from his home country Switzerland and loved their shoe. So the next thing you know, Roger Federer reached out to the founders of On Shoes and asked not for a sponsorship, but for a business partnership.
And here we are announcing the partnership and my investment into the company, and I'm really, really excited because they're great people.
And when the world noticed that Roger Federer had invested in a shoe company, the brand value of Roger Federer got attached to the functional technology of On Shoes. And in just 5 years, On Shoes went from $286 million in sales revenue to $2.6 billion in sales revenue. So friends, this is how one crazy idea, one unique innovation, and one lucky collaboration made On Shoes the fastest growing company in the world. Now let's move on to the business lesson that we can learn from the case study of On Shoes. The founder of On Shoes, Olivier Bernhard, highlighted a unique philosophy, and that is, don't look at the top, look at what's right in front of you. And this was particularly interesting for me because I have heard something similar from other athletes as well. In fact, when the Indian cricketer Jasprit Bumrah was asked after India won the World Cup in 2024 final against South Africa about how he made an impossible win possible, he said, and I quote, "At my peak mindset, I think of one ball at a time, because if I think of the overall picture too early, I give in to the pressure." Friends, the lesson here for us is not to get distracted by industry giants who dominate the market. Instead, focus on real problems, unmet customer needs, and gaps in the market that no one else is solving, and more importantly, try and solve them one day at a time, not all at once. That's all from my side, friends. If you like this case study, please press the like button, share it with your friends, and for more awesome business content, please subscribe to The Better Company. Thank you.